So going to my calculator, I need to put in my list. I want to get rid of this so I've got more room. All right. So how do I get to my list? Anybody? Stat, enter, right? Now I have my list are cleared. So the top row is our X. Okay. So we got 38, 42, 44, 36, 42, 49, 38. All right. 38, 49, 42, 36, 44, 42, and 38. Okay. So put the right ones in. And put 93, 79, 75, 83, 74. Just hitting enter after each one, 67 and 86. All right. So check. Make sure you put them all in right. Okay. So I've got an equation in there. I got to clear that out. It's showing up. All right. Now, let's see. What are we supposed to do then? Make a scatter plot. All right. So from there, what do I hit to make a scatter plot? Zoom 9. So is this a positive or negative correlation? Negative, because it's going down from left to right. It's going more like this, right? They're kind of scattered. Do you think it's strong or not quite as strong as what we've been seeing? Maybe not quite as strong as we've been seeing, right? How do I check? Right? How do I find that correlation coefficient, that part B? That's that R value, right? All right, so here's our graph of this information. All right, so to get there, I go back to stat and then over to calc. Hit the right arrow key. And then what are these things called again? Linear regression. So it's number 4. So we hit 4, and then I can just hit enter. Okay? Some of you will have to go down and highlight calculate on yours to get all right. So again, we didn't talk about what this table was about, but you read the problem. It's average temperature in a month to the heating bill at Claire's house. All right. So the colder it gets, usually the higher the bill, right? Because you're going to have to use more heat. Okay. So as the temperature goes down, the heating bill goes up, right? That's why it's negative. That's why it's going this way. Negative correlation. That makes sense? If it got hotter and then if the temperature was getting hotter and the heating bill was going up, that would be a positive correlation, but that usually doesn't happen, right? Usually you want your air conditioner to come on, right? All right, so it says find the correlation coefficient. All right, that's the R, so it's negative 0.86. That's pretty strong, but we were in the 99s and 98s yesterday, right? What's our equation, William? What's our equation of our line of best fit?
That's where I get.
It's all in front of you.
I don't know which one to do.
Okay, that's the equation. So it tells you what A is. So you just substitute what A is for me.
1.67.
Negative 1.68. We round to the second X, right? And then what?
148.8.
Right. Okay, you see where to get it now? Everybody see where you got that? Any questions? Right, the calculator did that for us, right? Yes.
Do you always round that?
Yeah, I usually just go to 2 decimal places. Yeah, we'll go round to hundreds, so you don't have to do the whole thing. Now, on my homework, I put in this exact. Okay, I didn't show you how to do that. Your little gold piece of paper, does everybody have a gold piece of paper, right? Everybody here has got one, right? It shows you how to do that. I just use the rounded one when I do it. Okay? So where do I go to put that in? What button do I start with? How do I graph a line? What button? Y equals, thank you. Okay? So we put negative, that's down here, 1.68, x is right there next to alpha, plus 148.88, and then hit graph, and it'll draw it in for you. The reason we have to draw it in is so we can answer the last part. Predict the heating bill for a month in which the average temperature is 40. Now, you don't have to draw it in, but I'm going to show you how you can just let the calculator do it. But you can just plug 40 in for X here and get it by hand if you want. But if you hit second, trace, which is our calculate menu, we're just putting a value in for X. It's going to ask for a value of X, which this problem's asking for it to be 40. And then it'll even put, if you look real close, it's kind of hard to see, but my cursor's blinking on that spot at 40, 8160. So what is that 8160? Degrees. What's 81.6 telling me? Come on, talk to me. Right? How much the cost is for the month, right? 40 is the temperature. The 81.6 is how much it costs. So that's $81.60 would be the monthly bill if the average temperature, or the mean temperature's average temperature was 40. Okay? No.
So I didn't catch on calculator where it has to plug in X.
Okay. So you go second, trace. It's right next to graph, between zoom and graph. And that gets you that calculate menu. You can see in blue above, or what, I don't know, I think it's blue in here, on yours too. That CALC. That's the calculate menu. That way, if you draw a line, you can calculate any value for X to find the Y, as long as your window is big enough. Window is next to Y equals. Okay? So if we got a degree measure of more than 55, more than 50.3 degrees for X, like I said, what's the average bill for a 55 degree month? It won't do it because the window's not big enough, what we have right now. But we can change that. You can always go to window. If it doesn't calculate it for you, you can just go and change it. We can go and change it to 100 if we wanted. All right? The graph might look a little different because I changed my X max, but it'll calculate, what's the cost of the bill. But if you got a 90-degree day, are you going to have your heat on? No. So that wouldn't be one that we would really look at anyway. Okay? Questions on the warm-up? That helped a little bit. Okay. Questions on homework? Any of those problems? I got them all here. All right. Here's 15. Okay. All right, and again, this equation is from putting in, it put in all of these without rounding. So I rounded it there, but, okay. But again, it's just practicing using your calculator. Your calculator will do all the work for you. All right? Questions? And we'll let you use your calculator when we get to the test. Looks like it's going to be next Tuesday. Okay? We were thinking about doing it Friday, but we're going to spend another day, a couple days here doing some word problems. All right? So that was 15. There was 16. Okay? And then 17, or I'm sorry, 18. All right, and they just gave you points here, so you had to write the points, so you knew what your X list and your Y list was. All right, so if that was giving you an issue, you just had to, that's 1, 1, and that's 2, 1, and that's 3, 2, and 4, 2, and 4, 5, and 5, 5, and 6, 4, 3, and 5, 3, and so on. Okay? So they didn't actually give you the X and Y values. You had to look at the graph that time. All right, and then 21. Okay. Okay, so they asked for then the question for that $85. All the highest ticket price was 25, so probably wouldn't sell very many tickets if it was that high. Right, Wolf? All right, so I see a lot of you messing with your calculators. You have any questions? All right, we got this figured out now. It's really not that hard because the calculator does all the work. We just got to be able to use it. We just needed to practice. Okay? All right, today, same type of deal. We are solving a system of equations, but the ones we did so far this year were 2 equations with 2 variables. Today is 3 equations with 3 variables. Okay? So I'm going to show you a way to do it on your calculator. There is a way to do it by hand. Okay? Takes a little time. Usually it's elimination is what we do, or substitution, a little bit of both like we did before. But since we have these graphing calculators, they can do this for us. They can solve these. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But here's an example of a system of 3 equations with 3 variables. So we got, an X, a Y, and a Z variable. Okay, a solution of such is called an ordered triple. Before we called them an ordered pair because there's only 2. All right. The graph of a linear equation in 3 variables is a plane in 3-dimensional space. So it's like 3-dimensional stuff. Okay, I'm not going to make you guys do that, but just want to show you this. It says the graphs of 3 such equations that form a system are 3 planes whose intersection determines the number of solutions of the system. If you have exactly 1 solution, this is how your 3 planes are going to intersect. They're all going to intersect at that one point there in the middle where that black dot is. All right, thinking back to geometry a little bit, looking at how they drew planes. Infinite many solutions, planes intersect in a line here. So they all intersected, or they all met with this dark line here in the middle. All right, that's be an infinite number of solutions, every point on that line. All right, then you've got where there's no solution, where they don't have any points in common, all 3 of them. Okay? Which could happen as well. So just kind of give you a visual of what's going on here. So they've got your x-axis, you got your y-axis, then the z-axis is like this way. Out towards you and back towards me, through me this way. All right? So, again, we're just going to use our calculators to do this. So make sure that you pay attention as we go through this. All right? So here's the first example. We have this 3 equation, 3 variable system. All right? We're going to use what we call matrices, or a matrix. All All right, and we're going to use two matrices. We're going to use an A matrix and a B matrix. Okay, to solve. So we're going to have to put certain numbers in for each matrix. All right, the A matrix is going to be made up of the coefficients of your variables. And it's got 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay? We won't put the letters in, we'll just put the coefficients in, the numbers in front. All right? The B matrix will be what's on the other side of our equal sign. And it's got 3 rows, but only 1 column. So we have dimensions to matrix, or matrices. All right? And we're going to put our coefficients in for each matrix, and then I'll show you what we'll do to solve it. Okay? So our A matrix, if I just put the numbers in, what are the 3 coefficients in the top row? What's the first coefficient for X? 1, thank you. What's the first coefficient for Y then? -2. What's the first coefficient of Z? 1. You guys all see that? What's the second row going to be? 3, 2, -1. What's the bottom row going to be? -1, 2, 4. Again, it's a 3 by 3, our A matrix. All right? Our B matrix is a 3 row, 1 column, and it's just those numbers, -11, 7, and -9. Okay? Now, when we solve equations, we move things from one side to the other, right? Like if I had, just a quick little linear equation here, what would I do first to solve that equation? Subtract the 2, right? It's the additive inverse of +2 is -2, right? Okay, so what we do to solve this matrix equation in our calculator, we're going to make our calculator go A inverse, because we're moving stuff to the other side, B. Okay, William? A inverse B is what we're going to do. All right, so let me show you how to put all that in your calculator. But that's the procedure. Okay, we're going to put our matrix numbers in to A and B, and then to solve, and then it's going to give us 3 answers. Okay, it'll give us 3 numbers. It'll look like the B matrix. The top number will be the X answer. The middle number will be the Y answer. And the bottom number will be the Z answer. Okay, when we're done. All right, so let's go through and do this one. All right, so to get out of this stuff, hit second mode, which means quit, and then just hit clear, and you got a clear screen. All right. If you look under math, that's called the inverse button. That button, right above it, it says matrix. Okay? So to get in matrix mode, you hit second, that X inverse button. All right? And then you got names, math, and edit. All right? When you're putting in numbers, you're editing it. So I hit the left arrow key once, and that highlights edit for me. Okay? And then I just hit enter because it's on number 1, so it's on the A matrix. All right, and then just hit 3, enter, 3, enter. You just told it that the A matrix is a 3 by 3. All right? Any questions? 3 enter, 3 enter. Now, when you put these numbers in, it goes across the rows. All right? Cindy, you got a question?
Yeah, how did you, like, I did not hear you in the beginning at all.
You got to listen to me. Am I talking too soft?
You were talking like that.
Oh, okay. Second inverse. You see second inverse. Do you see this screen?
Yeah.
All right, hit the left arrow key. You got that? Hit enter. Then hit 3, enter, 3, enter. Anybody else? Okay. Now just go 1, enter. You're going to go to the middle one. Negative is down here. Negative 2, enter. 1, enter. That's your first row. 3, enter. 2, enter. Negative 1, enter. Negative 1, enter. 2, enter. 4, enter. Any problems? That's your 9 numbers for your 3 by 3. Now, you can't just go right into the B matrix. You have to jump out. I don't know why, but that's just what it is. So you hit second mode, second quit. That'll jump you out. How do I jump back in? Second what? Second inverse. What do I do to put numbers in? Edit, left arrow. Now, we're still on A, so make sure you go down to number 2 for B. Then hit enter. What numbers we putting in for dimensions? 3, enter, 1, enter. And then put those 3 numbers in. Negative 11, 7, negative 9. Okay. Any problems? Everybody there? Okay. How do I get out? Second mode, right? That jumps us out. All right. So now we're at the part where we're going to type this in. Okay. So we've got our matrix set up. Got our information in. All right. So we go back in, second inverse, and just hit enter. And then your A matrix pops up. Now, what do we got to make sure we do? Inverse, okay? So we just hit the inverse button. No second, just the inverse button. And that'll put that negative 1 there for you. Now, how to put B up? Second inverse, number 2, remember. And just hit enter now. There's our answer. All right, our answer will be, well, I'll just pull it out like this. Oops. Get that out of there. All right, so that means our X value for this system is what? Negative 1. My Y value is 3, and my Z is, if I substitute those 3 numbers into all 3 equations, it's going to work. Okay? Questions? Cindy?
I got negative 1, 0, negative 10.
Okay, so somewhere in here, you put the wrong number, that's all. All right? You guys go ahead and try this one. And then I'll do it, and we'll check to see how you did. Longer, it looks like.
This is working with you.
You have the,
Yeah, I have all.
once you pull it up, you should bring it with and plug it into your laptop, it'll work. Did you find it on there? Sure. So, you got it? You guys got it? No. Multiply. You guys get negative 152? Cindy? You get negative 152? You open the way? Very slow. See. We'll get it right. You get it right? You think?
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right, so who's having problems? Besides Emma, because her calculator's different. All right, so that's all we're doing then. Those types of problems. Okay? Any questions? All right, so there's another example. I think we got it though, right? Now, make sure they don't mess with you and change the order. Okay? Sometimes they'll do that, change the order. Make sure it's X, Y, Z, right? What if one was just X, Y and there was no Z in it? What would you put in that spot for Z? Good. All right, so sometimes they might do that, where they might leave out a variable. So just put a 0 in that spot in your matrix. All right? So that one looks like everything's lined up. All right, so just three problems, 2, 4, and 6.
Like, that-